bad.
What do brain fog, IBS, leaky gut syndrome, skin rashes such as eczema, and acne all have in common? Well, we are going to discuss that today and more here at the Busy Boss Mama. I'm Crystal Borgeson, and this is my lovely sister, Stephanie Mitchell.
Hey, guys, welcome to the Focus and Fulfilled podcast. We have not podcasted for a minute, so we're super excited to be here. And we are in love with today's topic because it's super, super important. I think a lot of us in today's society, especially when we get any sort of like annoying symptom or sometimes really devastating symptoms, like I see, especially, don't you feel like there's so many people that have really severe digestive issues? I mean, how many people, maybe yourself or even in your own family, do you know who have Crohn's or, like Crystal said, IBS, leaky gut, or at the very minimum, like skin rashes? Like right now, I've been dealing with this stupid skin rash in my armpit that is like, keeps coming back, and I can get rid of it if I use like a cream. And that's normally what people do. They're like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the doctor because I have these digestive things, or I need to go to the dermatologist and get a cream because I have this rash or whatever. And yeah, it might take care of it. But all these things have one thing in common. And the problem with going and getting medicines for all these types of things is that they don't address the root cause. It's like, I put a cream on this rash. They don't fix it. It's like putting a Band-Aid on it, or it's like putting out a fire, but there's still like constant fuel fire. Yeah, but you're trying to put it out like without actually extinguishing the cause of the fire.
Yeah,
right?
You get the flames gone, but you didn't take out all the embers and the coals. So as soon as the wind kicks up, the forest is going again. Yeah.
Right. So my armpit's starting to itch again, and I'm like, oh, I could put this cream on it, but I know why it's itching, and I know what I need to do about it. So that's what we're going to talk about. And all of these things are connected through probably the most important I guess, health aspect of your body that you can take care of, and that's your gut. Your gut microbiome has to be in balance or it throws everything off. Your gut is called, oftentimes by a lot of doctors, they call your gut your second brain, because it's related to everything. And a lot of people would be surprised to hear that even your mental health issues like bad mood or depression, anxiety, and those types of things can be affected by what's going on in your gut, and certainly your immune system. So the one thing that I know when I start to get sick often, because I never get sick, it's not a regular part, it's like very, very rare. But if I were, a few years ago, I had gotten several colds in a row, like in a matter of 3 months. I think I had, I don't know, got sick 3 times or something, which was really unusual. And so I knew, okay, my gut, something's going on in my gut, because 80% of your immune system comes from your gut. And so I started getting my gut health in check and started paying a lot more attention and doing the things that I needed to do to get that microbiome back in balance. And sure enough, I went back to not getting sick again. So same thing with this stupid armpit rash. I know that it's what happens, like your skin displays what's going on inside. It's anytime I hear somebody talk about skin issues, like my kid has eczema, or I've got these constant rashes, or even acne. We were talking to Crystal about the kids today, about teenagers and tons of acne.
Yeah.
My daughter, from the inside out.
Well, especially because with all the candies and stuff lately, we were talking about how, because sugars cause so much inflammation all over in the body, and we just had Halloween. So there's candies, and my teen girls won't eat a bunch of it because it makes them break out. They notice that it breaks out. They notice that they can't stand being around their brothers when they've had a lot of sugar. My oldest one loves pancakes, but she doesn't eat them anymore because she's like, I don't love them enough, be in bad mood.
Exactly.
And she's like, and I don't want to have pizza face, so no, I don't think I'll have a pancake. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what my 15-year-old said last night too, because he opted not to go trick-or-treating, and then he had gotten candy from some other parties and stuff that we had gone to in the last few days, and he gave all of his candy away to his friends, because he was like, I don't want that. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I taste good for a minute and then I feel like crap after, and they know that. And the problem with sugar in your gut, in addition to it causing all kinds of inflammation and everything, is that it feeds yeast, which loves to take the spot and like just sneak in and inhabit where you should have good bacteria living. So our
Oh
body,
man, it can cause all kinds of problems,
oh, for sure.
like
Yeah,
in your
it's really
brain.
right in your
That's
brain,
what
especially
that's
when
where leaky gut comes from. It's an overabundance of
yeast.
yeast, which means you don't have enough good bacteria to eat it up, and it's gotten out of your gut and it gets into
Hmm.
your brain and it gets into like the way your skin and your other organs are functioning. And so you just feel bleh.
Right. And when we think of so you said that the yeast will, like when you have leaky gut, it gets into your brain. Yeah, it does. And so that can cause all sorts of problems. And when we think of things in our brain and mental health issues with our brain, we think of like the neurotransmitters that balance our hormones and balance our, dopamine and serotonin and all that kind of stuff. We think that those are just produced in the brain. And the brain does produce those neurotransmitters, but they're also produced in your gut.
They're
And if you don't
mostly
have a
produced in
proper,
your gut.
what was that?
I said it's mostly produced in your gut.
Right. And so if you don't have a proper balance of good um microbiome, like good bacteria in your gut, then your gut can't be producing those neurotransmitters. And so then what happens? You feel less happy. You feel more anxious because you're not getting that the hormone release that you need because you haven't provided your body with what it needs. So sure, you can go and you can get on um, anxiety and depression medication that's artificially going to do it for you, but it's not fixing the main problem.
Yeah, but
Where
it doesn't make your depression and stuff go away.
right, it's just pumping your body with artificial forms of these hormones that make you feel better, right?
Yep.
Which we're not knocking on people who need to be on those medications. Sometimes you do need to be on those medications.
Mhm.
But for a lot of us, we can target these underlying issues and take care of a lot of these types of things naturally, right? And if
Yeah.
you're somebody who is on medications and you're like, I really would rather get off of them, but I need them to function, you can always get help from a healthcare provider to where you can continue taking your meds, but also address these issues so that you can see if you're able to start, taking care of
Decreasing
your stuff.
dosages and
Yeah.
all that, and start, talking to your healthcare provider and making these changes naturally at home, and then talking to your healthcare provider about possibly, lowering your dosage and see how it goes for you. See what they say, he or she says, and
Right.
go
There
from
are
there.
so that are in that boat, with, and even with their kids with, different mood things and ADHD. And even, I have a friend who has a daughter with Down syndrome. And obviously, you're never going to get rid of Down syndrome, right? And
Yeah.
things like that, and autism and those types of conditions that you're never going to be able to quote heal from those things. However, parents of children like this do notice that when they get their kids gut in check, the symptoms of these things drastically change. So we all know that, well, if you're in any natural circles at all or have any natural mindedness at all, of the issues with food in kids, right? And the
Yeah.
relationship with our mood and their behavior and food dyes and all that kind of stuff. Um, excuse me, it's all related to get that gut in order. So we're super excited because we are doing a gut mini class tomorrow night where we're really going to dive deep into the microbiome and how you can what you can do to get your microbiome intact. And we have microbiome communities all over our body too, not just in our gut.
And a microbiome is all those, the interaction between bacterias and yeasts, and even there are certain viruses that exist in your body to help keep the bad bacterias in check also. And so all of those being in balance, that's what your microbiome is all those small cell creatures that live within you to keep a balance of health in your gut and throughout your whole body.
Right. I thought that was super interesting. I actually didn't know about the viruses that what is it that they do that they eat? Is it when you start to get sick or when your body gets hit with something and then those viruses go in and attack them? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I remember that, what are they called? Microphages?
They're called microphages.
Microphages, and I know that they go in and they can eat, some of them eat other bad bacteria, but they help. And some of them will even go in and attack other viruses.
Right. It's crazy. I
It,
hadn't realized that even in all the reading and stuff I've done about the gut microbiome and all that. I hadn't realized that there was these viruses too. So we have
yeah.
this good balance of
I'd
good
known of microphages, but I didn't actually know that
yeah,
they were in the virus.
in the body like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were viruses. I thought they were some other type of uh small cell
Bacteria
organism.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think they were, I actually kind of thought they were a type of bacteria. I didn't think they were a type of virus, which I thought was very interesting.
It was interesting. I learned that a couple weeks ago. So yeah, so there's actually more microbes in your body than there are human cells. I mean, there's probably trillions.
Yeah.
I mean, of
Trillions and trillions, because they're
microbes.
on the inside, they're on your skin, you're covered in them, they're in your hair, they're in your eyelashes, they're
Yeah, and I think that this is becoming more of a buzz. You know, the microbiome and the gut health is more of a buzzword now. A lot of people know, like, oh, there's something to this gut health. I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing about it.
yeah. I
But
think they think microbiome and they just think prebiotic, probiotic.
right. And
Mm.
but the interesting thing is that we have these really important microbiome communities all over. You have them in your mouth, which I actually have been learning more about recently from our pediatric dentist, because I had my daughter, even though we brush her teeth and stuff a lot, she had a bunch of cavities, which was really weird. I was like, I'm better about her oral health than I have been with my boys, and they don't have cavities and she does. And what he did was he put her on an oral probiotic. Like, she's on a probiotic for her gut, but he put her on an oral probiotic and like tested her saliva and found out that there's this imbalance of good and bad bacteria in her mouth because of the acidity of her saliva. So we have these communities all over. So it's really important because your oral health is also connected to your brain health and your cardiac health.
Yep.
So if you have stuff going on in your mouth, it can affect your risk of heart disease and all kinds of stuff. So it's really
Yeah.
important that we keep all of these in balance. So you have these communities on your skin that helps keep your skin healthy, in your kidneys, in the female reproductive tract, in your mouth, in your eyes,
Yeah.
everywhere. And so one of the things that's that we're going to talk about tomorrow is how you can target all of these microbiome communities as opposed to just your gut, which is the big one that most people think about, but you're kind of missing all of these other things that can help have great health benefit to your overall, you know,
Well, and
your
even
overall
with
health
your
in
sleep
general.
and stuff, because everybody talks about how important sleep is and you need to get sleep. But if you're sleeping crummy at night, that can also be caused by your microbiome. And then it raises stress levels, which raises inflammation, which ends up not being good for your gut health. And you end up on this big old cycle of unhealthiness. But where are you supposed to start to get in there? And so you really want to start, even if you're struggling with sleep or you're struggling with your immune system, like you're sick a lot, you really should focus first upon your gut, because that's
Right.
the foundation for all of it. Because, in just the last 5 or 6 years, when I have been really, looking into some of this, and then when I learned that so much, actually, it started with sleep. I was reading about getting good sleep, and then it moved into the gut stuff, because most of your melatonins and serotonins and dopamines, like most of that gets released within the gut. It produces
It's
more than the
fascinating.
brain does. So, yeah. And that's why if you're not sleeping well, and a lot of people, I just read an article that people are overdosing on melatonin. You really shouldn't take melatonin. It's a hormone. And you really don't want to be messing with your hormones like that. So,
Right. It's far better to figure out what it is in your body that's like that's off balance. Excuse me.
yeah,
That's causing you not to sleep. Like, why are you not sleeping?
yeah. What's inhibiting your natural melatonin releases?
Hmm.
So, and there are lots of things you can do to improve sleep. Everybody knows about that. But we are just focusing right now on what you can do to get the foundation, which is your gut. And I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, you're just gonna tell me we have to go on a diet. No, we're not. Of course, making sure that you're eating a healthy diet that is always, no matter what it, I know we all hate hearing it.
Extremely important.
It's extremely
Extremely important.
important. But there are things you can do to support it, even if you're like, okay, so this isn't for me because I don't eat my 15 servings of vegetables. And I like to
Right.
eat the candies that my kids brought home and, all the things that we struggle with.
Right. And all these things that you just said, we're going to be talking about over time. And that's one of the things that's really cool about these mini classes we're starting. We're launching tomorrow's our first one. And so what we've done is if you follow us at all, you know that we love to talk about metabolic health because metabolic health is like overall everything. And if you can get your metabolic health in check, you can get
Well,
easier.
because really the podcast is about becoming focused and fulfilled, but we've found as we've been doing this over the last year that the bottom line is people don't have any energy.
Yeah. People
If you
don't have
don't have
energy.
any energy and you're just like, I don't have anything left at the end of the night. Well, it's not just that you're overwhelmed. It's because our health and our metabolism is starting to slow down and we're just noticing this more in people. So we really want to focus on getting all of you, our lovely listeners, to work on these foundational health things so that we can move on towards being more focused and fulfilled.
Exactly.
But
So we have,
unfortunately, it starts with our health.
yeah, it starts with your health. And if you feel better, you'll feel better, basically.
Yeah.
So we have these different pillars of metabolic health, and there's sleep and emotions and stress, um, adjust or getting your blood sugar in check, which is, what you're talking about with eating and stuff, and metabolic health. Or, I mean, I'm sorry, gut health. And so we're doing mini classes on these different pillars of metabolic health. And then we're going to combine that with what we love to talk about, which is habits, right? And so if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this diet program or this or that, like, let's talk about the basis of what you need to get in check in your life and then work on working with the way that your brain naturally works and brain science and psychology and all this kind of stuff to help you build the habits that you need to stick to the health things that you need to so that you can feel your best and lead to a lot more focus and fulfillment. So we're super excited about these mini classes coming up. So tomorrow night's the first one, and it's going to be on mastering your microbiome and talking about gut health. And so if you are like, yeah, I think maybe I need to figure out how to get this in check because I've got this, that, or the other symptom, or maybe you just want to boost your immune system or whatever, be sure to join us. Be sure to invite your friends. It's totally free. And you can register for it at busybossmama.com/metabolic reset. And the way that we have this set up is these classes, like, you can just jump in whenever. We will have them recorded. So if you jump into the series, maybe you're watching this podcast in a week or two from, it's November 1st right now. Maybe you missed it and you're like, oh, I missed out. No, just jump in and you'll be able to catch whatever next mini class is coming up. And then you'll still be able to catch the microbiome class. So
Yes.
that's how you can join us. And also feel free to comment if you have any questions or you want to share any of your stories about or tips on the microbiome that you have.
Yeah, that would be great. We love it when people contribute and give us their own stories or share their knowledge.
Right.
That's,
Right. Totally.
we feel like everybody has something to contribute. So,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully we will see you at the Master Your Microbiome mini class tomorrow. Talk to you later, guys.
bye.